Hello, everybody. What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I am your host, Piers Austin, coming to you live from Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance on Facebook and on our YouTube channel. Also, I just want to make special thanks to other groups who are allowing us to stream in their pages to make our audience that much bigger. I'd like to thank WCW Nation, Generational Wrestling Society, and Wrestling Maniacs. Also, I would like to make special mention to our sponsors. First off is Signal Studios. They are a recording studio here in Sydney, Australia. They have a rehearsal space in Sydney, Australia. They can also make beats, tunes, music, whatever it is that you need. If you're a professional wrestler, you want some entrance music, hit up my boy Rafi. He can make some amazing music for you guys. Also, I just want to make special announcement to Mayan Belts. So Mayan Belts, on Facebook, they are the best belt makers in the world. If you want to get a custom championship belt made, or you are looking to get a replica championship belt made, contact Eddie and Ira Williams on Facebook. Head over to Mayan Belts on Facebook, that Facebook group page, and speak to those guys, and you'll get an amazing belt. Also, I wanted to make a special mention to A-Rock Design. So my good friend Ashley Rodriguez. So she makes wrestling related cups, hoodies, t-shirts, tumblers, keychains, you name it. She makes it with a wrestling theme. She also is doing stuff that isn't just wrestling related. I've got 3 cups on order. I've got 1 cup, which is going to be a Emma from the Wiggles cup for my little girl, and also a Ryan's World cup for my little boy. And I'm getting a wrestling related cup, but I'm not going to tell everyone what it is. I'm going to wait till everyone sees it coming in. Also, Immortal Restoning, my friend Jeff Parthay's new business. If you've got a title belt that looks like it's a little bit haggard, looks like some stones are falling out, needs a bit of a facelift and upgrade, contact my friend Jeff Parthay at Immortal Restoning on Facebook, and they'll be able to hook you up. Now, introducing my guest. He is a former CZW World Heavyweight Champion, former CZW Junior Heavyweight Champion, former Tag Team Champion. He is also a member of the Blackout, one of the longest reigning stables still running today in professional wrestling. They've been around for many, many years. He is Black G's. G's, what up, buddy? How you doing tonight?
Yo, what's going on, Piers? How you doing, bro?
I'm pretty good, man. I'm really excited to have you on, man. Thank you so much for joining us and coming on tonight. How you going in the world of lockdown, man?
I mean, it's going pretty good. I'm a homebody anyway, so the only thing that's really bothering me was not being able to go to the gym. But like in the last week or so, I worked out getting a home gym going. So like today was the first time I worked out in a month, bro. So I got like the whole pandemic gut going on. I gotta get that 6-pack back. I gotta get back on the ball, man. Other than that, I'm all good.
Yeah, man, I know the same feeling, man. I've been trying to do like workouts and stuff. I've got 2 kids, 4 and 2, so I'm like picking them up, trying to use them as weights, and I'm like telling my wife to feed them more because I need something a bit heavier to lift.
Yeah.
But when we get started, whereabouts are you from? Where do you originate from, man?
I'm from Philly. I was born in West Philly. But I live in Northeast Philly now. That's probably about like a half hour away from West Philly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So who trained you coming into professional wrestling, man?
Man, long story short. All right, so when I first started getting trained, it was well first, like years ago, there was like this wrestling section in the Philadelphia Daily News, like every Tuesday. So yeah, one day I saw it, and they were saying it was a school opening down South Philly, and it was this dude named Hard Rock Hamilton. So I went down there with my cousin, and we talked to Hard Rock. You know what I'm saying? And he was talking all this money that we had to pay to get trained.
Yeah.
It just eats to it. So like my cousin was like, "Nah, fuck that. I ain't rocking with it," and I was the same way. So then I saw that Damon Feldman, like he was a boxer. He was a boxing promoter, wrestling promoter. He was starting. Yo, what up, Angel? My man Angel Medina in the house. Yo, so
Yeah, man. You know Angel?
So I went there and I started getting trained by Damon Feldman. He had Gemini from Crash Crew and his cousin Munch. We was getting trained there. So then I started going to this place called Hawkins. That was in like the Kensington area. That's where I met Joker. So I started training there, and I just got the ball rolling. Then over time, I started like going to the Samoans, getting trained there. Me and Joker, we started going to Chikara, learning from Mike Quackenbush and Skida, that lucha libre style. And then then they took it from there. And then like for real, when you getting trained, you're gonna learn your basics, but the best way to learn is actually on the job. You know what I'm saying? You'll be
Yeah.
green for a while, but the best way to learn is to do it in front of an audience. And then as you keep going, you keep sticking to it, you just get better and better.
How did you find when you first broke into obviously training and stuff like that? Like, was it everything that you thought it would be, like taking, bumps and picking up, footwork and that sort of stuff? Did it come naturally to you, or was it something that you found frustrating in the beginning?
I feel like I picked up on it pretty quick. I mean, as far as like the psychology stuff, I didn't have that for years, you know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
as far as like just learning the moves and stuff like that, I was fine with that. I picked it up because I mean, you watch it when you're a kid, so you have a general idea of how things happen, a general idea, you know what I mean? So I think I picked up on things, and then like when you first start off, there's really no fear, so you don't really have a fear of bumping from high places or taking bumps, getting hit. You know, I didn't have a fear of it at all. So I
Young
think
and
I
dumb.
yeah, exactly. Like years later, a bunch of concussions later, I'm smarter. But when I started out, I picked up on it pretty quickly.
Yeah, and pretty soon after your starting in wrestling, I think it was about 3 years in, you found yourself over in CZW,
Yeah.
and you pretty much not straight away, but pretty soon thereafter, you were put with Ruckus and Robbie Marino, and you guys
hmm
formed the Blackout stable. How did that come about? How did that stable come about? Like, were you guys all friends prior, or was it just like Xander going, "We're going to put you with Ruckus and Robbie"?
Well, the way it worked was at the time, Robbie was a ring announcer and he was transitioning from that. So, CCW put Ruckus and Robbie together, and like the story of their whole thing was, you remember Bad Boy Records, like Notorious Big and
Yeah,
Puffy, right?
yeah,
So it was sort of like that, you know what I'm saying? Like Ruckus was the wrestler and Robbie was the manager, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So then like we had met Ruckus on one of the shows that we did, like when me and Joker first started, you know what I'm saying? And we sort of we clicked from the beginning, and we just stayed in contact with each other. So then once we got into CZW, I'm assuming that like Ruckus said, yeah, put them with us, or maybe Zandig just looked at it like, yeah, we're gonna put Joker and Sabian with you. Y'all do a group and see what happens.
Mm.
I guess depending on who you ask, whether it's Ruckus, Robbie, or Zandig, they'll tell you that it was their idea. But they put us together, and we just had instant chemistry, and it worked.
Yeah, man. Look, you mentioned Joker, and Joker's one of the guys that I look at from that era and just go, man, like he had so much talent and so much potential.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, going off and putting his morals and what he thought was right to go and fight for the United States and join the army and
Right.
leave wrestling. But he did come back for a little bit. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he was always such an amazing talent, like such a hard hitting guy. I really love watching some of his matches, even still this day. Going back and watching him, he was just so hard out, and you guys were such a perfect fit for Blackout as well.
Appreciate
Like,
that, man.
yeah, no, you guys were such a perfect fit. And one of the things, and I was actually talking about this with Ruckus when I had him on, that I really enjoyed the ring intros that you, Robbie, and the guys were doing when you'd have the, like, for me, I would pop every time hearing the ring announcer introducing you guys and having like these, here's the Barack Obama of marijuana.
Yeah.
And how did you come up with your own intros for it, or was it something going, okay, the ring announcer should say this for Robbie, this for Ruckus, this for me? Like, how did that all come about?
I mean, if I'm remembering right, like a lot of that was Ruckus and Robbie. Like they always had like real innovative ideas. So like I definitely didn't come up with it, but when we started doing it, I would then start thinking of things for the announcer to say for me. But I definitely give that credit to Ruckus and Robbie. And going back to Joker, man, I think that like if Joker didn't have all of these commitments, like he's a responsible dude, you know what I'm saying? So like real life came first. But I think if he wasn't in the military and all that, I think Joker would have definitely went way further than he did, man. He definitely, I think he would have gotten signed. I think he would have, like, you remember back then, like the deal was you blow up on the Indies, you blow up in like IWA Mid South, you go to Ring of Honor, maybe you go to Japan or whatever, and then you get signed somewhere. I definitely think that Joker would have been signed. Joker would have been he would have been signed. He would have been making money on TV. You know what I'm saying? These days, he might have even been like a trainer, a producer or something. But I think if he didn't have those responsibilities, he definitely would have been. He would have went really, really far, man. Definitely.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you look at Blackout, the stable over time, who you guys had involved there. You had Maven Bentley as a mouthpiece manager, whatever you want to call it, or lawyer. Sorry, to start off with, and then you've also had Chrissy Rivera.
Right.
You had Eddie Kingston in there for a while, and Eddie Kingston was one guy who really seemed to fit in well with you guys as well.
Yeah,
I found like he brought a different dynamic to it, and some of the storylines as well. Was able to sort of, I don't want to say you could see the rift sort of happening, but when it went out with him sort of being booted from Blackout, it the storylines around Blackout were told really, really well.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that too, man. And with Eddie, like we met Eddie at a Chikara show and we clicked right away. So then when Joker was when he was getting deployed the first time, it was two things that he wanted. He wanted to wrestle Zandig in a death match, and he wanted Eddie to take his spot in Blackout. And then Eddie fit in perfectly. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it just worked. Eddie was the perfect person.
Geez, wanting to wrestle Zandig in a death match, that would be a pretty intimidating thing to do. But he definitely did get to have that opportunity, and not to sort of get off topic, but look, Joker's matches that he had, even when he did the death match stuff, or even if it was just like straight wrestling stuff, man, he just went hard at it. Like it was, you definitely didn't see anything being pulled back. And even with you yourself, like when you're in that ring, it's balls to the wall, man. Like it's very hard hitting. It's a very believable, ring work that you do, and the thing is as well that I find with professional wrestling is as long as it can be believable and, watching, even intergender matches, if you can watch an intergender match and you can sort of see, yeah, I can see her holding her own against that guy. But when you see an intergender match, when it's a 5'4" female going up against a guy who's like 6'8",
right,
I can't buy that. But
yeah.
And that's the thing, as well as like, especially with the smaller cruiserweight style of guys, if you see someone going up against the Big Show, if they're just going to get a straight knockout punch and pin him, it's not really believable. But if there's more psychology to it, you definitely see that. And, on the talk of intergender wrestling, you probably in the mid 2000s, you really had a bit of a thing going on with LuFisto, who's really well known on the independent circuit. And I actually just watched one of your matches with her the other night. How did you find, especially at that time and in a company like CZW in the peak of the independent boom, so to speak, how did you find going in and wrestling LuFisto? Was it something that you were a bit sort of hesitant about doing, or were you like, no, let's do it. She's a professional. She's good at what she does, and we can tell a pretty compelling story? Or was it something you're like, oh, I'm not too sure?
No, I was with it right from the jump. When I got to the building, I can't remember what the plan was originally. It was some other plans. And then like when I got to the building that day, they told me that they switched the card around, and then they told me I was wrestling LuFisto, and I was like, "Let's do it." I was all for it. You know what I'm saying? And like LuFisto can go. You know what I'm saying? It's not like she's a chick that can't work, that don't hit hard. LuFisto can go. Like as we all know, LuFisto is a legend on the Indies. You know what I'm saying? So it was all good right from the jump. And I think like that first match we had, it told a good story. You know what I'm saying? The live audience loved it. It was fun. It was fun times.
Yeah, no, it was definitely an enjoyable match, and that's the thing. Like when you're in CZW, the matches that you were having, and even the matches you were having with Lufisto at that time, they were so they were so full on. Like when you and her were hitting each other, it was like Jesus, like those shots look pretty real, man,
Yeah,
and very intense. And I think that's the way, as I was saying, that made it a believable feud and a believable
right,
match
right.
was that you guys were just going hard out at it. She was hitting you with everything, you were hitting her with everything,
Hmm.
and it made it believable. And that's the
Yeah,
thing, for professional wrestling, and you've been a wrestler for a long time and would probably agree with this. It's about making it believable and
right, right.
suspending the belief of the audience.
Yeah, exactly. And
But
I think we did that, and like, I mean, this is gonna be a pattern too, man. Like Lufisto is somebody else that should be on TV right now. Like she's put the work in, she's put the time in. She's an innovator. A lot of the women that's out here right now, like a lot of stuff that they do, Lufisto was an originator of that, and for her to not have a contract with a company that has TV is unfortunate because she deserves to be there because she can work. She's believable. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand how, like, there's a lot of people that should have contracts with companies that have TV. There's a lot of people that should.
yeah,
Lufisto is definitely one of them.
I mean, she's even someone who could easily go and fit into a backstage, trainer
Hmm.
type role or coach
Hmm.
type role as well. I mean,
Hmm.
she's been around for a long time. She's seen it all.
Yep.
She can definitely go. But when you were growing up, were you into professional wrestling? Were you a fan of pro wrestling from the beginning?
I've been a fan since I was a kid. I was a Hulkamaniac when I was a kid. Um, like I like WWF, but then I can't remember who put me on the NWA, but somebody put me on the NWA and I fell in love with it. You know what I'm saying? The Horsemen. You know what I'm saying? And then once I started watching Japanese wrestling, I was definitely hooked. Like
Yeah.
first time I watched Japanese wrestling, I was like, the only thing I want to do in wrestling is go to Japan. That's it. I didn't care about anything else. I just wanted to go to Japan. So yeah, I've been a fan since I was a kid, bro.
Yeah. Who were some of your favorites growing up?
Uh said Hulk Hogan, Ted DiBiase, Mr. Perfect, Owen Hart, Shawn Michaels. Then as far as NWA, it was the Horsemen. I was more of a Tully Blanchard fan, more than Ric Flair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Manny Fernandez, Rick Rude. I could go on and on all day long, man. And then as far as like Japanese wrestling, definitely Liger, Otani, Takaiwa. Um, I can go on and on, bro. Benoit Guerrero is my favorite of all time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a lot of favorites, bro. But definitely number one is Guerrero.
Guerrero, yeah, he's one of mine as well, and I think as well being someone like I'm a fairly short guy as well, so
Mhm.
I always was a big fan of like Guerrero, Benoit, Mysterio,
Yeah,
those guys. So to me, being a shorter guy, those were guys that I really looked up to.
yeah.
But how did you when you actually found broke once you started training and everything like that, and as you said, the best way to gain experience is to be out on the job learning. How did you forget, or how did you find starting out in professional wrestling once you've completed training, when you were then gonna go out and get bookings, like you're then looking to go out and start building a name, building a brand for yourself? How did that come about?
It was
Like, how did you
really
find it?
it was really just if a show was going on, I would just inquire about getting on, really. That was pretty much it. And like when you first start out, you're not getting paid anything. It's like
Yeah,
and oh yeah. How could I forget Too Cold, man? Too Cold Scorpio, definite legend, definitely one of my favorites.
yeah,
Um, like and again, like when you first start out, you're not getting paid. It's just like, okay, yeah, I'll put you on the show, but you're not gonna get paid. Okay, cool, because you just want to be in the ring. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
then like you just inquire about it, and then as your name gets out there, promoters start contacting you. And then also like if your friends are working somewhere, they're gonna look out for you. And you're gonna look out for your friends, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So it's pretty much that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And building up that brand, it's like anything. It's building the brand. It's building up the quality of what you're putting out there
Right,
for
right.
people to want to bring you in and invest in and bringing in G's the wrestler and seeing where you can go from
Mhm.
there and what you can bring into the business. But so you've wrestled from CZW, you've wrestled around Shikara, Ring of Honor, TNT, WWE. You've had exposure pretty much everywhere. But
Mhm.
even at one stage, you worked in WWE and TNA in the span of a week. I
Yeah,
think it was. So
right.
how did that all come about, man?
WWE thing was I sent my stuff to Joey Mercury, and then eventually I got a call asking. Well, he was like, "You're going to get a call asking if you're available for these dates." So then that's what happened. I got contacted, asking if I was available, for these dates. They call it extra work now. Then it was just like, "Are you available?" Whatever. So um, I went and did them, and I mean, it was a great experience. I mean, it opened my eyes to a lot. I think like by that time, by that time I knew what I was doing in the ring. I knew what I was. I knew what I was about as the character. Didn't know everything, of course, but I went and I did it and I loved it. And I hoped that it would lead to getting signed. Um, but then like with TNA, I think I think the TNA booking was already in the works. Al Snow was behind that. They were scooping up guys for the X division, and I believe I had did a show. It might have been that Extreme Rising, one of those Extreme Rising shows, and I talked to Al Snow, and he told me to send my stuff to him. So I sent my stuff to him, and then like while I was at WWE, um, I went in the locker room and I went to the extras locker room and got my phone and turned my phone on, and I had a message saying, "Are you available for these dates?" So then I said yeah, and then I got on the TNA stuff. So then yeah, I did the match with Ryback, and I had already had the TNA booking. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm doing this. I'm doing TNA in a week or whatever. Um, Something should happen. You know what I'm saying? So things were looking up. So then
Yeah.
I did stuff with TNA. I was there a handful of times, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? No contract, nothing. But I had a good time there. I mean, I think like at the time I would have said that I didn't get a fair opportunity, but
Mm.
every opportunity you get, you gotta kill it. You gotta make it so that you're undeniable. And I didn't get a contract or anything, so I guess I wasn't undeniable, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
um yeah, I mean, I wish I would have got a contract or whatever, but it didn't happen.
Was there any feedback given to you, like after those handful of matches you did for
Yeah, that's the
TNA?
thing. That's the thing. It was always positive. It was always positive feedback. I never, not once did I get, "Hey, you need to work on this. We don't have a spot for you." I never got any of that. It was just always positive feedback. So I'm thinking, all right, cool, something should happen, but it never did. I think that like what I should have been more aggressive as far as getting a spot there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was on my just happy to be there. Where if you're there, that's the time to really be in their ear. Let them know that you really want to be there. Like, all right, so what do I need to do? I want to be here. You got to make it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta really press the
Yeah.
issue. You know what I'm saying? I want to
You got to
be
be
here. Exactly.
aggressively hitting it.
Exactly. I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like I would go there, do what I was told to do, and then I would stay out of the way. Whereas, you know what I'm saying? If I was more aggressive about it, then I might have got a spot. So
Yeah. How did you find the differences, backstage between WWE and TNA at the time?
um WWE it felt WWE was like it was more intimidating at WWE.
Yeah.
TNA, it was both were sort of intimidating because I hadn't experienced it before, but it's like WWE. It's like how do I compare it? It's like WWE is like you're like you're like you know what I'm saying. You're like I got to do everything right. I can't fuck up here. You know what I mean? But with TNA, it was a bit more relaxed. Maybe because like I knew more people there, so
Yeah.
I was a bit more comfortable. But WWE, it was like it was definitely more intimidating.
Yeah. I mean, did they keep you guys separated from the main roster talent being, coming in as an enhancement guy? Did they keep you separated or was it all one locker room for everyone?
All of the extras we were all in our locker room. We weren't with the main guys or anything. But it wasn't like don't talk to these guys. It wasn't that, but it was like common sense. You know that you're an extra. You're not there yet, so you're not going to be walking up to like the main guys holding conversations like that's your homies from back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just common sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then with TNA, like, and then also with WWE, I was there as an extra. You know what I'm saying? So
Sure.
you're there. I'm not going to say as a nobody, but you know what I'm saying. You're just there to do the favor. You know what I mean? With
Yeah.
TNA, we were all there as valuable parts of what was going on. We were all valuable parts of the production. So it was different in that aspect. That's why it was more relaxed. You know what I'm saying? Like with the TNA stuff, it was like the stuff that was going on was stuff that what you were doing really mattered to the overall production. With
Yeah.
WWE, you're an extra. It matters, but on a smaller scale. You know, that makes sense. You know.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like you're there to do a job. They respect it, but at the end of the day, you're not.
Right.
You're an extra. You're not.
Right. Right.
You're not someone they're invested in overly,
Right. Right.
so to
Right.
speak. But yeah. And do you think that's probably why you didn't get a call back to WWE when they found out about the TNA gig a week later? Or no?
Not at all, not at all. Because I do remember like once I got the booking, at some point I pulled William Regal to the side, and I mentioned it to him. And what he told me was, keep doing what you're doing. Don't wait by the phone. You want to stay as busy and as active as possible. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it's like it's a business. You know what I'm saying? All of the guys that they know that like guys are coming in, guys are trying to get a job with whoever wants to sign them first. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's you know what I mean? It's like it's no big deal. It's just keep doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? So they understand it. So
Yeah. Exactly. I mean,
it wasn't a big deal at all.
yeah. Well, I
Like
suppose as well.
obviously,
You're out there.
yeah,
I
go ahead.
suppose you're out there making money for yourself to pay your
Right,
bills
right,
and everything like
right.
that. They can't expect people to just sit there and wait
Yeah,
by the phone for a pipe dream.
yeah. And then like obviously, like since I hadn't experienced that type of thing before, I was still a little shook. So I'm like, damn, what do I do? What do I do? So what do? You ask questions. So like I said, so I pulled Regal aside and talked to him about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like it would be foolish to be like, no, I'm not available for this because I'm doing this. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Things could, you just gotta do what you gotta do. You know?
yeah. And over in TNA, you said you dealt with Al Snow. He was your point of contact for the
Mm-hmm.
person, and Al Snow is probably someone that I believe and probably many others believe to be one of the most intelligent people in professional wrestling,
Pretty much.
as far as grasping it. In your
Yeah.
time there, did you get a chance to sit under Al's learning tree a little bit? Were you able to get a little bit of not walk away there with a little bit of extra knowledge?
I did. Like Al Snow was definitely like obviously he has a lot of knowledge, and like I did get advice from him lots of times. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like I tried to get as much advice and as much feedback from people as much as possible. But again, I should have just been more aggressive, letting them know that I should have been a nuisance. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Letting them know I want to be here. I want to be here. I want to be here. To the point where they might have been like, oh, yeah, he has a bit of talent. Okay, let's see. Let's see what he can do. If it works, it
mm.
works. If it don't, it don't. But I definitely should have been more aggressive, and I wasn't.
Is that
That's
a personality thing with you though, or is that more of like you didn't feel comfortable at that time to do that?
that's the crazy thing because my natural personality is to be aggressive as hell. But like I said, I had never experienced it, so I was shook. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I should have had the mentality of I got everything to gain and nothing to lose. I should have just said, fuck it. Let me be aggressive about this. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? That's the hindsight 2020. If I had it back, I definitely would have been that way.
Yeah. Just letting our audience know that we are taking questions from the audience. So if you do have a comment, please throw it up. Or a question, please throw it up in the comment section. We do have a comment from Jean. Jean wants to know, what were some of your favorite matches, or what have been some of your favorite matches?
Um, my first time wrestling in Corrigan Hall, obviously because I was a big mark for Japanese wrestling. I always wanted to wrestle in Corrigan Hall. Um, my first match with TNA, because that was my first time being on TV in a role that mattered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obviously, the squash match with Ryback, you know what I'm saying? And like any first time things were really favorites, were really special to me. Um, I had a lot of matches. Like, not one match in particular, but my entire feud with Matt Tremont and CZW, really
Ooh.
loved that. Because it was different. It was different from the normal indie stuff. I think like our feud was based on character and story. And
Yeah.
not once did we do a death match. Like Tremont is known for death matches. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
We didn't do any, we did hardcore stuff, but the whole entire feud was built around our promos and our characters. And I love that.
Yeah. And you know what? With that, I felt like you dropping the CZW title to Matt was a little bit too soon for my liking. I thought
Really?
you, yeah, I would have liked to seen you hold on to the belt a little bit longer, and that's just my opinion. I just would have liked to seen you have hold on to it for a little bit longer. But Matt, who was like the hardcore CZW, born and bred sort of guy, I could see that they were itching to get the belt on him. But yeah, I just felt they could have left that belt on you a little bit longer and given you a bit of a longer reign with it. But
Man, it definitely was fun, man. And I mean, if the plan was for the feud to go longer, I would have definitely loved it. But you know, but yeah,
I think
it's
it definitely had the potential to,
yeah, I think so. I think so. And
and
then like what we did, another cool thing that we did was we developed the TV ready gimmick with myself, Cherry Bomb, now Alley, and Pepper Parks,
yeah, I was
and
just
that
about to
that was
get to
pretty
that.
cool.
Yeah, TV ready. So whose idea was it to put you guys together?
The idea, it was collectively, like, so one of the stables that me and Joker always looked up to was the Dangerous Alliance. So we always, like, we wanted to have like a Dangerous Alliance type of stable. And like originally, like, we didn't have a name for it, but originally the TV ready gimmick would have been me, Joker, Cherry Bomb, Pepper Parks, and Papadon. Like, we even took like promotional pictures for it backstage at CZW, and then like for whatever reason it didn't work out. Um, so then um, Pepper Parks, Cherry Bomb, myself, we wanted to work together. So we put our heads together and we came up with the idea. And at first, like, CZW wasn't with it. They just wasn't with it. So then what happened was, maybe a few months after that, which what happens a lot is that, like, you present an idea at CZW and they're like, no, we don't want to do it. So like, all right. So now, like, a couple months later, DJ Hyde, he hit me up and he's like, hey, I was thinking about doing this gimmick. What you got? And he's like, what if you, Pepper Park, and Cherry Bomb start a group? And I'm like, it's a great idea, DJ. You know what I mean? So it's like, when it's talent's idea, it's a no. But when it's the boss's idea, it's a great idea. So we
Yeah.
just rolled with it and we did it. And I think we could have did a whole lot more with that, but it just didn't happen. But I think we that had the potential to be crazy.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And you mentioned DJ Hyde, and DJ Hyde's a guy who gets a bit of a mixed reaction from wrestling fans, from wrestlers, from pretty much everybody. And you were very fortunate to work both for Zandig and for DJ.
Mm-hmm.
How did you find the differences when CZW ownership changed and John Zandig sold the business to DJ Hyde?
I think with Zandig was more intimidating. Like like Zandig was intimidating. DJ Hyde isn't. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I'm not saying that as a knock on him, but that's just how it is. And like Zandig's thing was big bumps and high flying. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
and DJ has more of an open mind than that. Like he wanted, obviously he wanted the death matches and the high flying because that's what CZW always was, but he also wanted wrestling and us and that. And like Zandig, he never really looked at me as being like a top guy at CZW. That's just how it was. He never looked at me that way. With DJ, I had more of an opportunity to do what I wanted to do. A lot of it had to do with like I'm just going to do it anyway. Like if DJ tells me
Yeah.
no, I'm just go out there and do it. With Zandig, if I would have went out there and did what I wanted, he probably would not book me anymore. You know what I mean? And then also one thing I got to credit DJ with was once he took over, I was able to go to Japan. Like I've been told that I wasn't one of the choices to go to Big Japan, but whatever, that's fine. I mean, I still got to go twice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when Zandig was running things, the relationship with Japan wasn't there. So if Zandig would have kept the company, I probably never would have got the opportunity to go to Japan. Um, both of them are a bit stubborn. Like
Mm.
Zandig always wanted things to be his way, and like if somebody like if somebody else was the booker, eventually Zandig would eventually Zandig and the booker would bump heads, and that's similar to how DJ was. Like DJ would have like sort of like a few people in his ear about how to do things,
Mm.
and then DJ would want to change his mind and not want to do certain things that would make sense, and DJ would want to go with his idea, and a lot of his ideas just they didn't make a lot of the ideas that he was given made more sense than what DJ wanted to do. So Zandig and DJ were similar that way because they're both a bit closed-minded, they're both a bit stubborn, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and then like a lot of the negative things that happened with CZW once DJ took over, a lot of the negative stuff was completely DJ's fault. Like a lot of times, man, you would hear that guys in the locker room aren't getting along. That happens everywhere.
Yeah.
But DJ would be the one to like the fire on that. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll say stuff like, well, such and such was talking shit about you. And then he'll tell that other person, well, this person was talking shit about you. And he'll want guys to bump heads. And that's not helping. That's not helping morale. That's not helping the product. And that's
Mm.
just making the whole vibe in the locker room be negative. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
you got guys over here in this clique, guys over here in that clique, when we're all supposed to come together and make a good product. Like that's a
And that's the
problem.
thing, by doing that, it just makes guys not want to work for that company. And
Exactly.
one of the things like CZW, where it is now compared to where it used to be, like as you can see, I'm a big Combat Zone wrestling fan. And they were on fire in the early '90s, and not early '90s, sorry, the early into mid 2000s.
Right.
And they were getting shows just as big as Ring of Honor and stuff like that. And look at Ring of Honor now and look at CZW now. And it has to ask the question: is that from management that the company has suffered? Because from talent wise, CZW has always had consistent talent. They've
Yeah.
always had good talent, in their locker room.
Yeah. It's
What's
definitely
your
not.
thought?
It's definitely not the fault of the talent. It's management. Like when Zandig was running things, Zandig cared about what CZW was doing. He didn't care about what other people was doing. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? With with DJ, he would always be worried about what everybody else is doing. Like you see what company A is doing, you see what company B is doing, and it's like, yeah, they're doing great. Focus on your product. We have talented people here. Focus on
yeah,
that. Don't worry about what they're doing. Like CCW has their own following. Focus on that and build off of that. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? Another thing was like, he would always want to book things in a way where like I always look at it like book things in a way where anybody can be a threat to anybody. You know what I mean? Like be
yeah,
smart about things because anything can happen. Like guys can get pissed off and leave, guys can get injured, you know what I'm saying? So keep on the low building guys up so that if something happens and this person isn't available, you can put this person in there. He would always be on some if you wanted to book this guy against this guy, it's like, why would that happen? Why would we do that? because man, it could work. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, that's why I mean, like he was closed minded about a lot of things. You know what I mean? And like it could have been, CCW could have been a whole lot better, but it just isn't, and it's definitely not the fault of the talent. Like currently, I don't follow it, but like I'll see stuff, like I'll be told things, and like I'm familiar with the guys. You know what I mean? And like it's a lot of talented people there, but
Yeah.
the leadership the isn't there. Like DJ is, I always feel like DJ was a cancer to the company, to his own company.
Yeah, and you know, and that's the thing. You look at it now, and as I said, where it was to where it is, like you know, I watched probably their one of the most recent shows that they did before this whole COVID-19 thing. I think it was their 21st anniversary show, and I was like, man, there's hardly any people in that crowd. Whereas like you compare it to like a 2003 to a 2005 show, where the crowd was just fire, man.
Yeah,
like you guys had the crowd, pretty much like the roof about to cave in.
yep.
And it's just completely different now from experience. But, and that's the thing I find, like, as a fan, like you hear all the feedback of stuff that happens backstage, with obviously DJ and you hear obviously the shoot interviews, but is that part of the reason you're no longer with CZW? Was it an issue with management, or was it just, for you, the time was now it's time to move on?
I mean, when I stopped, like, I think the last, like, before we did the Blackout Rep feud, I wasn't there for maybe like a year or something. And like, it wasn't heat or anything. It was just like it wasn't really anything else that I felt like I could do there at the time. And obviously CZW felt like there was nothing for me to do either. You know what I mean? So we just parted ways, friendly. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it wasn't any heat, but like when I wasn't there anymore, I wasn't missing it or anything. It was just like it wasn't creative anymore. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't really anything for me to do. There was really like it was just like I was at the point where like when I would get to the building, I would want to go on early so I could leave. And once it gets to that point, it's time to go. You know what I mean? Before I would want to. I didn't care when I was on, first, second, last, whatever. Like I just wanted to be there and like watch the matches and help the guys. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. But it just wasn't there anymore, man. Like it's just like the vibe was like real negative. So it was definitely time to go. You know?
Yeah, that's really unfortunate considering what that company used to be. And on a more positive note, though, when you won the world title at Cage of Death against Sozio, Biff Busick, and Drew Gulak in Cage of Death, you've never really been known as a deathmatch guy.
Right.
You're very much straight wrestling, high flying. That mat wrestling. How did you find going into a dynamic like Cage of Death, where you're going to be a little bit out of your element? And to be honest, looking at the other participants in that match, Drew Gulak, Sozio, and also Biff, none of you guys were really big deathmatch name guys. How did you find to build the hype leading into that match, going into it?
Honestly, it was easy because you have four guys that know what their characters are, four guys that can work, four guys that understand psychology, character. Like it was easy. And then it was all four of us are safe. We can trust each other. It was easy and it was fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I had been in Cage of Death before. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So it was easy. And then when fans started like shitting on it beforehand, saying that it was going to be horrible, like that's what really hyped us up. We was like, okay, all right, they're saying this now. Watch, all of them going to jump on our dick when we do the match, and that's exactly what happened. You know what I'm saying? And we loved it. You know what I'm saying? Like none of us felt out of our element. We just went in there and told the story, and it worked, man. It was a fun night. It was fun times.
The match was money, dude. Like the match was absolutely on fire, and I actually just watched it last night again before this interview. And the Weed Whacker spot that you did with Socio
Yeah,
as well, man. That to me, like whenever I see anything like a weed whacker involved in pro wrestling, it's kind of like an eclipse of the sun. You know, you don't want to
yeah.
look, but you can't look away. And you know, how did that spot come about? Because obviously CZW, the early state or early years of CZW, the weed whacker with wife beater was really well known. You
Mm-hmm.
know, whose idea was it to bring that element back into that match?
That was all Sozio's idea. I didn't have any experience at all with like using a weed whacker. You know what I'm saying? So I had no. I didn't. I was a greenie as far as that.
Yeah,
So when he came up with the idea, I was like, cool. I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, just do it. And I was like, all right. And we just did it. And you know what I'm saying? It was fun. And the cool thing was like, and like all of us, like we wanted, like we knew what was gonna get the crowd going. Every man, like everything that we planned out, we knew how the crowd was gonna react. And we also left the openings for us to just like improvise as we went. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it was stuff that we put together. It was stuff that we all improvised, and like everything just came across the way it was supposed to be. And live crowd, the live crowd bought it all, man. We loved it. Fun times.
But but you know what? That's the thing as well. Like, has it like to someone to come to you and say, "Hey, man, we're gonna have this match, and it's gonna be a real brutal match. But listen, this is what I want you to do. I want you to take a weed whacker and just stick it into my stomach quick a couple of times." Do you have those thoughts? Just going like, "Are you fucking serious, dude?" Like, like,
Not really. It wasn't like a the fuck you want me to, it wasn't like that. It was like because we all know each other, so it was like I think I can't remember word for word, but I think it might have been yeah. So then we'll do the weed whacker spot. And I'm like, all right, what's the weed whacker spot? So it's like, all right, so yeah, so you hit me with the weed whacker. I'm like, for real? I'm like, all right, are you sure? Yeah, we gonna do it. I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it wasn't like a weed whacker. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? It was just like a, are you sure? You good with that? Yeah. So then we just did it. And
yeah.
it was all about it was all about like getting the crowd to like enjoy it. That's what it was about. It was about story, character, and getting that crowd to react to stuff, man. That shit was fun, bro. Loved it.
No, fair call. So we got another question from the audience. Daniel Bowerman. He says, "G'day, Pierce and G's. What's up, G's? Is there any matches you were not interested in or disappointed in?" So what I mean by not interested in, obviously, was a match that you had to have that you weren't all that keen to do, or a match that after the fact you were disappointed in.
Um, I can't think of any matches. I mean, there's been matches that um I wasn't interested in doing, but they worked out. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And like I might not have been interested in it because I might not have been familiar with the person and like just like interacting with them beforehand. I might have looked at them like, oh God, this is gonna be trash. You know what I'm saying? This ain't gonna work. But then it worked out. And there
yeah,
were matches that I've had matches that I was disappointed in, and the disappointment would be because like things just didn't click. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of times where like you in there wrestling and spots that you do, like they don't work out the way that you thought they would, but you don't let the audience know that. You just keep it moving. But there are times where like it's just obvious that things aren't clicking
yeah.
and things just fall apart, man. So there's been a few of them. You know what I mean? I ain't really gonna. This ain't really the time to put anybody on blast or anything, but
No, no.
there's definitely been matches that I've been disappointed in, and there's been matches that I wasn't interested in going in, but they worked out. They definitely worked out.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have good and bad days, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
in anything
exactly,
that you do
exactly.
in jobs. And, you know, pro wrestling's just like any other job. You're going to have
Mhm.
days where you're going to be, you know,
Yeah,
have bad, like you look at it like football, for example, you know, sometimes, you know, a team will turn up, sometimes that team won't turn up, you know, and
yeah,
it's
man.
just, it depends on the day.
Yeah, then it's like, and then like it's ups and downs. So like, there's been times where like, I've had matches where like I was looking forward to it, and then like I'll mess some stuff up. Now I'll go to the back, and I'm like, I wasn't happy with my performance, but then people are like, no, dude, it was awesome, whatever, whatever. I'm like, nah, that shit was trash. And then I'll watch it, and it's like, oh damn, it wasn't bad. You know what I mean? Because we're our own worst critics and shit. So like you said, like you have good days and you have bad days, just like anything else.
Yeah, and like that's exactly where we're coming from. So, but guys, if there is any other questions from the audience, please feel free to ask. We've still got a little bit of time still with G's here, but G's, we are streaming in a couple of wrestling collector groups, belt groups. Do you have any? Do you have a wrestling collection? Do you have anything that you collect? Any memorabilia, title belts?
Nah, I don't collect any title. I mean, I I still have the Jersey All Pro heavyweight belt. Like when they shut down, they didn't collect the belt from me. I still had that. But aside from that, nah. I mean, I have a few pictures down here in my man cave or whatever, but I don't know, man. I don't. I'm not really a collector or anything. Like I have the memories. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good
Yeah,
with that.
oh, that's fantastic. So, one
I
of
mean,
the
yeah. I mean, aside from that, like I said, I always wanted to go to Japan. You know what I'm saying? I got that nice Ribera jacket right there in the background.
oh,
Yeah, I got that. That's my pride and joy right there. I got
how is the danger steak?
oh, it was great. Went to Mr. Dangerous. I got that framed up in the man cave, you know what I'm saying? So
Oh, that's
aside from
nice.
those, you know what I'm saying? I got a couple other pictures or whatever, but you know, got a couple
Yeah.
like action figures that fans made for me, but nothing too extreme though.
All right. So my boy Angel has said he's asked a bunch of questions, but I shit on him. I definitely didn't shit on you, Angel. I definitely. I'm just trying to go back and see.
You said yeah, Extreme Rising was fun, but it fell apart, man. I agree, bro. That could have been that man. That could have been really good, man. Like shit fell apart. It's usually like egos, man. It's usually like, and it don't even be the boys, man. It be like the people that's running it. They'll just like shit'll just fall apart. Like the boys just want stuff to continue, so it's constant bookings, constant money, and like we all love performing. You know what I'm saying? So the boys
Yeah,
can agree to whatever and like and get it done. It's just like it's always the people that are running things that always
they're
like seem to
ruining it.
fuck it up, man. Yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely. So
Like
this
that
is an
that UWF, was it UWF? Urban Wrestling Federation. It was that, you remember that? Like from a few years back, where they're
yeah,
mixing
yeah, yeah,
wrestlers, there's mixing wrestlers with rappers, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah. I remember that.
that was on some innovative before Lucha Underground came out shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
That could have
100%.
that could have been good, but that definitely was management that fucked that up. Because the boys wanted to keep it going, but management fucked that up though.
Absolutely. Here's another little thing from Angel. G's collect fat rats.
Rats are good for the business, brother. Good for the business.
Absolutely, absolutely. So before we sort of start wrapping things up, there's a little game that we like to do here on Shooting the Shit, which is called Guess the Aussie Slang. Okay, have you ever been to Australia, G's?
Nah, I never been to Australia.
All right. So listen, I'm going to set you up. All right. So I'm going to ask you an Aussie slang word,
Okay.
and I'll put it in a sentence for you, and you have to tell me what it means. Okay. So when you do come to Australia, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
have an understanding what some of our slang means. All right.
All right.
All right. I tell you what, geez, I'm fucking buggered, man.
You tired?
What is buggered?
You tired or you pissed off? Which one was it?
Yeah, so tired, broken. Like if I say, "Oh man, that my car is buggered, it's rooted" or something like that, then yeah, buggered.
Yeah.
Mate, where's the dunny?
The Dunny?
Yeah, where's the dunny?
I don't know. Where's the Dunny? Where's the Dunny? Was the bathroom? Where the hose at?
Correct, man.
The
Correct,
bathroom?
man. Correct. Yeah, man. You're 2 for 2, bro. Come
Yeah.
on. All right. I'll tell you what, mate. That bloke over there, me and him are about to have a blue.
That bloke, that dude over there, we about to fight.
That's correct, man. Have a blue.
Blue means fight?
Blue. Like
Blue.
that shirt is blue. Yeah, have a blue. That means to fight.
Okay, all right, cool. So I'm 3 for 3 now. That's what I'm talking about.
You're getting good. All right. So let's go then. Listen, man. Can you grab me some smokes from the servo?
Cigarettes from the store.
Yep. But what's a servo?
The server.
Servo.
Servo. Oh, all right. I don't know. The store, gas station. I don't know. I probably fucked this one up.
Yeah, the gas station, servo,
Oh,
petrol
all right.
station.
All right, cool.
Oh, mate, I tell you, after that match, I'm fucking spewing.
That match got you hype as shit.
No,
No?
you get this wrong. Spewing as in like I'm angry. I'm upset. I'm not happy about it.
Oh, all right, all right.
All right, so let's go a couple more. All right.
I'm gonna steal all of that stuff too, man.
Oh, dude, I'll send
It
you a
was
link.
spewing, but you said spewing?
Spewing.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah. Ah,
All
man, that damn DJ Hyde match got me spewing.
All right, here's another one. I don't feel like going into work tomorrow. I'm gonna chuck a sickie.
Calling out.
Yeah, I'm calling it. I kind of gave that away.
Yeah, when you was like, I don't feel like going to work. Yeah, you gave that one away.
Yeah,
I got one for you. I got one for you.
All right, let's
I got this Philly slang right now. You can feel free to use it.
All right.
Yo, bro, you see that joint over there? Yo, that joint is crazy, yo. Yo, that joint got a fatty. Dog. Yo, let's go to the John, see if the Johns is there.
Go to the Jones?
John, Jawn. I'm gonna start over.
John.
Yo, bro. Yeah, John. Yo, bro, see that John over there? Yo, that John is crazy. Yo, that John is fire, bro. Yo, let's go to the John and see what's up with the Johns.
Is that like a chick?
It's that. All right, so a John for Philly slang, and a John could be anything. It could be a girl. It could be anything. John is a word that's used to describe anything. So if you see two Philly dudes talking and you hear John, we understand what we're talking about, because John takes the place of any word in the world. John means anything.
John. Okay. All right. Yes. That's cool. So I've got a couple more. All right. Jeez, man. You see that guy over there? He's a fucking wuss.
Oh, he's a pussy. He's a bitch ass dude.
Yeah, exactly. All right. See me mate over there? He's a real yobbo.
He's a dickhead. He's a dumbass.
Yeah, someone who's rowdy, loud, just disruptive, just a complete loudmouth. Yeah, like a yobbo. So, kind of like a bogan is almost, you could kind of put a yobbo into. So, but guys, look,
bogan.
Bogan, yeah. You haven't heard of bogan before?
No, I never had a bogan. What the fuck is a bogan?
So a bogan is what you call a really Aussie person. Like a bogan would probably talk like this. Fucking yeah, mate, you're gonna go down to the pub, drink a few fucking schooners, and mate, probably come back, make sure my Sheila's cooked me dinner for the night.
Oh, all right, yeah. Somebody that's annoying as fuck, right?
Yeah, well, a bogan's more of like your typical Aussie, like if like kind of like if an Aussie redneck would be.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
But
like in Philly, we would call that person a clown or a dickhead. One or the
other. Yeah, we call them dickheads too. But sometimes, bogans aren't always like bad people. They're just rough. You know what I mean?
I got you.
So, but before we start wrapping things up, G's, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you?
Everything is the same. G's 215. JEEZ 215. So that's Twitter. That's Instagram. That's YouTube. I think that's all I really got. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. I think that's it. I'll never get a TikTok. That's not happening.
Really? I can see you do the whole really I don't give a fuck song in the background. So
nah, I ain't messing with TikTok, bro. I ain't doing that. It's funny watching people do it, but I ain't doing it. That ain't happening.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you, dude. I've got a TikTok, but I very rarely post on it. But geez, look, thank you so much for coming on. I'll get you to hang back with me just while we wrap it up. Guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I am your host, Piers Austin, and my guest tonight has been Geez. Geez, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we really hope you had a good time.
I did, man. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it, bro.
No worries, man. Thank you so much. Guys, you have a great evening and good rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.